American Horror Story is moving forward with the production on its 12th season entitled Delicate, despite immense pressure from picketers from the Writers Guild, and I've got all the updates from the set, including a first official look at Emma Roberts' character, alongside more paparazzi photos giving us a lot more insight into what is going down in the season. Make sure you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss my updates on all of our favorite horror shows and movies, but now let's talk AHS. First, let's update our casting chart from the last video as we have a couple new cast members to discuss. As you know, AHS Delicate will star Emma Roberts, Kim Kardashian, Michaela J. Rodriguez, Matt Zuckery, Cara Delevingne, and Annabelle Dexter-Jones. New cast members joining them will be Tony Award winners Julie White and Deborah Monk. Julie White won her Tony Award for Best Actress for her work on The Little Dog Laughed, and Deborah Monk won hers for Redwood Curtain. Another new cast member that has been confirmed to be appearing in Delicate is AHS alumnus Zachary Quinto. However, his appearance has already been confirmed to only be limited to a cameo. In an interview with People magazine, Zachary Quinto revealed this revelation himself, stating, "I did a cameo on this season of American Horror Story and I got to meet Kim Kardashian. She was so lovely and warm, and really I don't think she needs my advice. She seemed really in her element and I was really impressed by her spirit and her openness. I really look forward to seeing this season because I think she's going to do a wonderful job." This season will be Zachary Quinto's 4th appearance in the series. Before Delicate, he appeared in Season 1's Murder House, Season 2's Asylum, and last year's NYC. Let's now get some updates on the rumored cast members of the season. I'm bumping Dennis O'Hare up from TBD to very likely to be a part of Delicate, as several fan accounts began alleging that he had officially joined the cast of the season. This of course is not nearly enough proof to confirm him. However, Dennis O'Hare himself shared one of these fan posts to his Instagram story. So unless this was some sort of mistake, I think Dennis is confirming his involvement in Delicate. I will still wait for a trade to confirm him, but I would be surprised at this point if he was not in it. Billy Lord, who we talked about in the last episode, I'm still classifying as a likely rumor. Production Weekly still lists her as a part of the ensemble. However, trades like Deadline and The Hollywood Reporter have left her out of their press releases thus far. Nothing has changed since my last video in regards to Billy, so for now proceed with caution. I fear if she is in the season, her role might be bite-sized like Lark was in Double Feature. Same goes for Leslie Grossman. We're keeping her at TBD as, despite being in New York City frequently over the last couple of months, no confirmation or denial on her involvement in the season has been given just yet. Next, let's get into some new looks we've gotten into the season. FX revealed a blink and you miss it shot from AHS Delicate in a commercial spot advertising a wide array of their programming. The shot features Emma Roberts as Anna standing before a crowd of paparazzi. If you recall my news report from this May, we actually got paparazzi images of Emma filming this very scene. In recent weeks, the production on Delicate has been slowly emerging from the scabby shadows of their sound stages and back on the streets of New York City. This means we've gotten a handful of new images from paparazzi, one of which gives us a look at Julie White's character, who is rumored to be named Miss Preacher. If you look at her bag, I think that rumor is on the money. As you know, the season takes influence from the upcoming novel Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine, which itself takes inspiration from Rosemary's Baby, and this look for Miss Preacher to me looks like a more gothic, campy, American Horror Story-ized version of that very cult in Rosemary's Baby. Based on costume alone, I think Miss Preacher must be working with Cara Delevingne's character, as both of their costumes have been entirely of the black and red color scheme. I've said before that Cara Delevingne's character reminds me of Bibi Babbitt from American Horror Story Cult, herself an influential cult leader in the AHS universe. Similarly, the eye makeup that Julie White has been spotted sporting reminds me of Michael Langdon's from Apocalypse, with the red eyeshadow concentrated towards the bridge of her nose and eyebrow. This could just be a coincidence, or it could be the creative team drawing from their own cults from previous seasons for visual inspiration, but I've always been interested in learning more about Scum and the cult that Bibi Babbitt was a part of, and I'd also like to know a little bit more about all of those Satanists that we saw in Apocalypse. Another paparazzi shot that has been making the rounds is of Emma Roberts, who to me looks like she has started her own sort of cult. Emma, playing Anna, leads a crowd of followers who are all wearing some sort of beige clothing. There's a video of this scene scene being filmed, and while it is pretty hard to hear exactly what Anna is saying as she walks directly towards the camera, at the very end of the clip you can hear her lead the crowd to all yell, "It's my body." This is just speculation, but perhaps at this point in the season, Anna has uncovered the forces that were trying to control her pregnancy and has started some sort of movement or cult of her own against what I believe to be a cult somewhat along the lines of the satanic cult in Rosemary's Baby, and maybe those people marching alongside Anna are other mothers that this other cult has targeted. This would seem a bit similar to Ally Mayfair Richards' journey in American Horror Story cult to me, so there's probably more at play here. The production cycle for Delicate has been a bit chaotic, so it's hard to say exactly where in the season this moment will happen. They very well could be filming things out of order, not only due to the writers picketing, but also because there's a chance that the Screen Actors Guild may strike soon, but more on that later in the video. Another interesting paparazzi shot from the filming of Delicate features a pregnant Anna drinking a small vial of presumably blood. Honestly, at this point, the season almost feels like an amalgamation of concepts from every season of American Horror Story. As you know, there's been a lot of blood drinkers over the years in American Horror Story, with Hotel and Red Tide being the most prominent examples. But I think things will become a lot clearer once the source material for the season, Danielle Valentine's novel Delicate Condition, comes out on August 1st. That will hopefully put a lot of this into context and will give us a better idea on how this season will differ from the concepts that are being explored that remind us so much of previous seasons. Alright, with all of those paparazzi shots out of the way, now let's discuss how the ever-changing situation with the Writers Guild of America and now the Screen Actors Guild is affecting Season 12 of American Horror Story. Stick around for the end of the video for more updates on the third season of American Horror Stories and a channel update from me, but now let's discuss the strike situation. There's been a heightened sense of drama and pressure in recent weeks, especially considering that American Horror Story is one of the few scripted television series that remains in production. On June 21st, WGA strike captain and television producer Warren Leight alleged that crew members on American Horror Story Delicate had told him and other picketers that they would be, quote, blackballed in Murphy land if they were to respect the picket lines. Soon after that tweet made the rounds, a spokesperson for Ryan Murphy released a statement calling Leight's allegations absolutely nonsense and categorically false. This seemed to have prompted Warren Leight to delete the original tweet, but he continued to spread his colleagues' reactions to the initial allegations throughout the day. One of those colleagues, by the name of T. Cooper, who is also a WGA captain and a television producer, shared a video of a black SUV crossing picket lines to enter the set of American Horror Story. T. Cooper alleges that Kim Kardashian was inside the van, which blatantly ignored and crossed the lines of picketers protesting in front of them.
Stop your show, hey, hey, ho, ho. Ryan Murphy, stop your show, hey, hey, ho, ho. Ryan Murphy, stop your show, hey, hey, ho, ho. Ryan Murphy, stop your show, hey, hey, ho, ho. Ryan Murphy, stop your show, hey, hey.
Now, the Screen Actors Guild does not have a strike clause, which means if Kim were to not go to work due to the picketers, she isn't protected by SAG in doing that and could be reprimanded by the AHS production. It's also worth noting that back in May, Cara Delevingne was similarly criticized by picketers for allegedly crossing picket lines. But the timing of all of this with Ryan Murphy's shutting down of Warren Leight's blackballing allegations just doesn't sit right with me. There's a lot of moving parts here, of course, but it's just not adding up. These two instances of Ryan Murphy denying these allegations and Kim Kardashian crossing picket lines were on the same day, and the fact of the matter is that American Horror Story and Ryan Murphy are not respecting the Writers Guild strike, and they are not willing to sacrifice their shooting schedule to postpone the season and send the right message to the studio heads that these film and TV productions cannot survive without writers. Kim Kardashian and Cara Delevingne cannot single-handedly shut down production by respecting picket lines, although it would send a clear message to Ryan Murphy himself that his highest paid actors are risking their jobs to stand up for writers, and let's be honest, even if Kim Kardashian respected picket lines, there's no way in hell they would fire her, as she's kind of the leading marketing strategy for this season thus far. At the end of the day, Ryan Murphy does have the power to and should shut down production on American Horror Story until the Writers Guild comes to a fair agreement with the AMPTP that gives screenwriters a living wage, gives more writers opportunities in the form of larger, more collaborative writers' rooms and also protects writers from potentially losing their jobs to the rise of AI. Now, you might say that Ryan Murphy cannot make that call. Disney and FX are the ones essentially forcing all of these cast and crew members to not respect picket lines, and they are definitely doing that, as evidenced by the letter that I shared with you guys in my May news report. And while Disney and FX are fighting for their productions to remain in production, it would be ignorant to think that Ryan Murphy doesn't hold any power over Disney, especially considering that Ryan Murphy himself is currently in negotiations for his return to Disney after his Netflix deal expires. Disney, which owns Fox and FX, is a member of the AMPTP, who is directly responsible for this strike, as they denied the Writers Guild's proposal that led to this very strike happening. So as Disney, as a member of the AMPTP, are negotiating with the Writers Guild, Disney is also separately negotiating a contract to get Ryan Murphy to produce more shows and content for them. So if Ryan Murphy really wanted to show his support for his writers, as one of the most successful and influential television producers in the industry who is actually in negotiations with arguably the most influential studio, Disney, it would be ignorant to not be fighting for the Writers Guild during these negotiations. And in his defense, maybe he is. Obviously, Disney and Ryan Murphy have not struck a deal just yet, and all of those negotiations are behind closed doors, so who knows what's going on in there. And I guess I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that behind those closed doors, the writers are exactly who he's fighting for. He's also shown support for the strike by walking the picket lines at least long enough for 2 photos to be taken of him. He's also one of many wealthy producers that pledged a collective $1.7 million to the Entertainment Community Fund, which aids industry workers facing financial trouble, including writers who are striking currently and not getting paid. Side note, back in 2018, Netflix gave Ryan Murphy a development deal with $300 million in compensation. I'm just throwing that statistic out there for no particular reason. But as it stands currently, Ryan Murphy's singular day of walking in solidarity with the picketers and incessant denial of threatening crew members who respect picket lines, despite several cast and crew members literally crossing picket lines on a daily basis to film AHS, it's just all coming across as hypocritical and playing both sides. It's weird to me for Ryan Murphy to show his support for the writers by picketing for one day and donating a sum of his wealth, yet he's running the productions that are causing some of the most friction with the picketing writers at the same time. But if Ryan Murphy cared about the quality and legacy of his longest running series, a halt would help ensure that the season gets done with the supervision of Halle Pfeiffer, the season's sole writer and showrunner. Halle Pfeiffer being a showrunner does mean technically that she could be on set, but she just couldn't do writing beyond the A through H tasks, which I explained in my previous video. But still, I can't imagine this chaotic production is resulting in a better season of American Horror Story. It also gives off the vibe that the AHS production is just rushing through the material that they have in hopes to make their fall deadline. We'll just have to wait and see how the writer's strike affects the quality of season 12, but again, I can't imagine this chaotic production resulting in a cohesive season. And despite all of this drama, Ryan Murphy is currently in production on 3 of his shows: American Horror Story Delicate, American Horror Stories Season 3, and the upcoming American Sports Story. That's right, we've got AHS, we've got ACS, and finally Ryan Murphy is giving us what we really wanted all along, ASS. The writer's strike is a complex issue that I implore you all to do your own research on, because I know I'm not explaining it to the fullest extent because I'm no expert, but I have been keeping up to the best of my ability, and frankly, AHS and Ryan Murphy have been responsible for a lot of friction with these writers who are picketing for their livelihoods and the future of their careers. And to me, it's just not a good look. So, as if this video weren't long enough, as I am editing this video, a Hollywood Reporter article came out about how Ryan Murphy threatened to sue Warren Late, the WGA captain that tweeted the allegations that crew members were told they'd be blackballed from Ryan Murphy Productions if they respected picket lines. Like I said before, when that was tweeted, Ryan quickly released a statement calling these allegations false. Late has deleted the original allegation, issued a retraction apologizing for spreading the misinformation, and now he has stepped down from his leadership position in the Writers Guild following Ryan Murphy's threat of litigation against him. The East Coast wing of the WGA sent out a letter to their members explaining the situation, and in that memo the guild says that Warren Late will step down from his position, but that the guild would be providing him legal representation if Ryan Murphy does decide to sue. It also states that Warren was a co-chair of a committee within the WGA that is currently investigating Ryan Murphy, potentially for evidence of potentially getting writing work done in violation of the strike rules, allegedly. It also states that Warren Late had been warned about his social media use prior to the incident. The memo also reiterates that the enemy in this issue is the AMPTP, not other writers or producers, and if the writers turn on each other, the AMPTP wins. Okay, I'll keep my thoughts on this brief, but sure, it seems that nobody ever outright told any crew members that they'd never work for Ryan Murphy again if they crossed picket lines. I believe that never happened, however, it doesn't change the fact that cast and crew members on AHS have been incessantly crossing these picket lines to work on the show. And Ryan Murphy clearly doesn't care that these picket lines are being crossed. The Hollywood Reporter article claims to have sources that Ryan himself has allegedly crossed picket lines to be on set for one of his 3 remaining productions, but Ryan Murphy's spokesperson says that he hasn't been in New York City for 2 months since the writer's strike started. If that's true though, why aren't you showing your face on your sets? Another question I have is, why are you, Ryan Murphy, as one of the most influential showrunners in the industry, coming after a captain of the WGA instead of boosting their message of writers getting fair wages and all of their other demands that these writers are fighting for? Does Ryan have the right to sue Warren Late for his tweets? Yes, but these threats of litigation are distracting from the real issue at hand. Honestly, Ryan Murphy should be out there on the front lines and should have suspended his productions a long time ago in solidarity with this strike. If he had, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I could rant about this for a while. Feel free to make up your own minds about how you feel about this. I think it's pretty clear how I feel, but I gotta keep this video reasonably on track, so let's move forward. The Writers Guild has still not struck a deal with the AMPTP, and now the Screen Actors Guild has entered negotiations with the AMPTP as well. And there's a chance that actors may be striking as well pretty soon. If SAG-AFTRA does strike, that would mean production on AHS Delicate would have to stop indefinitely, as I'm sure every actor in the season is a member of SAG-AFTRA. On June 27th, leading into what would have been their final negotiations, many A-list actors signed a letter urging SAG-AFTRA leaders to make clear their resolve in the ongoing contract negotiations between SAG and the AMPTP. Many AHS alumni signed this letter, including Sarah Paulson, Gabri Sidibe, Connie Britton, and Zachary Quinto, among others, and alongside fellow SAG members and A-listers Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, and Quinta Brunson, to name a few. So, on June 30th, SAG-AFTRA leadership were supposed to enter their final contract negotiations and determine whether they would strike a deal and allow actors to keep working, or actors would have to strike because the AMPTP couldn't present them with what they saw as a fair deal. But instead of either of those options, the two parties are extending their negotiating until July 12th. Basically, they couldn't strike a deal, and both parties want to avoid a SAG strike if possible. So the possibility of the strike remains on the table, and the ramifications of that would be huge, but we won't know for sure until July 12th, and this extension, like I said, likely means that they're trying to avoid this strike by all means necessary. But who knows at this point? Follow me on Twitter and check my community page for the most up-to-date info on American Horror Story and the writer's strike and the SAG strike, as I am keeping up with it, like I said, to the best of my ability. With all of that drama out of the way, let's briefly touch on some updates regarding the 3rd season of American Horror Stories, which is also currently in production. In one of my last news reports, I discussed the season's episode titles, which, in case you forgot, they are Bestie, Daphne, Tapeworm, Organ, Backrooms, The Thing Under the Bed, Howl, Clone, and Leprechaun. While filming the Tapeworm episode in New Jersey, paparazzi caught shots of Lisa Rinna of Real Housewives and Eminem fame shooting scenes for the episode. Now, before I leave you, I wanted to let you know about a video project I've been working on, and essentially it's a deep dive video essay into the marketing, production, and release of the 1st season of Scream Queens. If you've been with this channel for a while, you know I love Scream Queens, and although I haven't made a video on it in a hot minute, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I wanted to start a series that really dissects all of the fun production facts, marketing strategies, strategies and the cultural reception to some of my favorite horror properties. And since I started this channel with a Scream Queens video almost 5 years ago, it felt right to start this series off with Scream Queens. I want the series to have a consistent theming surrounding a made-up retro movie theater I call Horror-matica, inspired by the 50s and 60s, and by the end of the year I plan on doing a couple more retrospectives on some of my favorite horror properties and directors. I hope you guys check it out, and if you're a Scream Queens fan, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification, because the next few months will hopefully be a really fun look back at a show that captured my heart and fascination almost 8 years ago. The first part of my Scream Queens series should come out on July 28th if everything goes to plan, so look out for it on that day, and I'll have more information in the coming weeks. But there you have it. There's everything you need to know about American Horror Story Delicate, American Horror Stories, and my upcoming videos. If you made it this far, give this video a like and let me know what element of American Horror Story Delicate you are most looking forward to learning about most in the comments below. And I will see you next time.